enforcement crackdown. Iran keeps pushing back on the president's warning to make a nuclear deal.
With nuclear talks set to resume tomorrow in Geneva, Switzerland, Iran's foreign minister put out a statement overnight saying in part, quote, "Our fundamental convictions are crystal clear. Iran will under no circumstances ever develop a nuclear weapon. Neither will we Iranians ever forgo our right to harness the dividends of peaceful nuclear technology for our people."
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. For now, a U.S. military buildup in the region continues. America is listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
I-94 westbound after East Outer Drive. We do have some construction blocking your right lane on I-94 westbound approaching Connors Street. That's 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. daily through Friday. And some more construction on M5 northbound. Your on-ramp from 12 Mile. That's scheduled until 2:30 this afternoon. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon with a high of 36. Partly cloudy skies with a low of 15 for tonight. Partly sunny for Thursday with a high near 33. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR traffic and weather first.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-983-2077 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-983-2077. That's 800-983-2077. What do you have to lose? Call 800-983-2077. Again, 800-983-2077.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COIN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COIN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COIN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
Live from the offices of GCSI in Lansing, this is JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermanni. Sponsored by the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association and by GCSI. Here's Ryan.
Hey, let's go on a Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Ryan Ermanni, JR Afternoon, live from Lansing. Big night tonight, just across the way from the state capitol at the Governmental Consult Services, GCSI. We appreciate their hospitality. Mike Hawks is the man. Greets you at the door, walks you in. This place is fantastic. Now, as we get set for the State of the State address tonight, the final State of the State address for Governor Gretchen Whitmer, scheduled to start at 7 o'clock tonight. You can listen to it right here on 760 WJR. 1 hour and 47 minutes last night, though. This address will be on the heels of last night. So many moments last night at the State of the Union address, and one that is really making a lot of news today, and one I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and one you will see on just about every single political ad leading up to November in 2026. It is Donald Trump asking this question. Kelsey, cut one.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
And that went on for about 2 minutes. All Democrats sat on their hands. I couldn't believe it. For 2 minutes, the president sat there, looked at them and motioned as if to say, look at this. Democrats did not stand for that. They didn't stand for a number of different issues last night. Low-hanging fruit, pretty basic stuff. Even Bill Maher last night wrote, the maturity level of this country is what's below 1. That's just one of the things that was said last night. And I mentioned this yesterday, even before the speech happened, 35% of the people think he's the devil and they were going to hate it. 35% of the people were going to love it no matter what. But what did the 30% of the people in the middle think last night? And if you look at polling, CNN has 64% of the people that watched that poll, watched the speech last night, viewed it favorably. And that was a big boost for the president. But we are here tonight to talk about the state of the state. And to help us talk about it is the Michigan Senate Minority Leader, Eric Nesbitt. He will deliver the address tonight, the rebuttal address for the third time, also running for governor in the state of Michigan. Senator Nesbitt, thanks so much for the time.
Hey, thanks for having me on, and thanks for covering this, because right now in Michigan, over the last several years, it's just been tougher and tougher for our families to make it here in Michigan. We have a high cost of living, highest energy bills in the Midwest, highest insurance bills in the Midwest, high cost of government. That needs to end. This is what I want to hear. And right now in job creators, it's tough for our job creators to invest and grow here in Michigan. And unfortunately, we're a bottom 5 state in our unemployment rate, our job creation rate. It's just tough for folks to make it here. And then our kids, 3 out of 5 fourth graders can't read at grade level. And 25 years ago, these politicians in Lansing and elsewhere did away with skilled trades in our high schools. We need to bring those back. We need to empower parents to have school choice and make sure every kid's able to read. We have a lot of challenges in Michigan. And unfortunately, under Governor Whitmer over the last 7 years, it's been tougher for folks to make it here. And unfortunately, right now in education, job creation, and incomes, and the cost of living, we're a bottom 10 state right now, and that needs to change.
We are a bottom 10 state in so many of those issues. What is the disconnect, though, Senator? Because if you look at the governor's approval rating, it is pretty high. There are governors all over the country that would love the approval rating that she has. But when you look at how this state is actually performing, it is in the bottom quarter, bottom 10 in so many different areas, in education, in fourth grade reading, in per capita income. And you can list several other categories as well. What aren't people understanding?
Yeah, the average family in Michigan makes $9,000 less than the average family nationally. So they're earning less, and it costs more to live here. And so as I travel around the state and talk to folks, I was talking to a guy a few months ago up in Gladwin. And I asked, he's one of the guys I met that moved from Tennessee to Michigan. You don't meet too many people that moved from Tennessee to Michigan. But he started adding up his costs of energy, his cost of insurance, his cost of taxes. And he goes, I'm spending about $5,000 more per year to live here in Michigan than I do in Tennessee. I'm a farm boy. As a farm boy, $5,000 is a lot of money. And that is something where you have a governor over the last 7 years that cares more about her public relations on TikTok and social media than solving the problems of the state. You have a governor that shut down our school, put a chain on our schoolhouse doors during COVID. And the average student now in public school is 3/4 of a grade level behind. That's wrong. And when 3 out of 5 fourth graders can't read at grade level, which is the case right now in Michigan.
No doubt.
And you know that if they're not reading at grade level by 4th grade, that they have a nearly 70% chance of doing one or two things in their life, being on social welfare or in jail. That paints a very grim, dark picture for the future of this Michigan. We need to paint a very different picture where we're wealthier, where there's more money in people's pockets, and where every kid is able to learn and get into the trades.
Senator, there are so many big time issues. If any politician could fix even one of them, I think it would be viewed as a success. How do you go about doing it, though? How do you go about moving, whether it's the governor giving a speech tonight or somebody on the campaign trail giving a speech on a stump? How do these problems get fixed? They are very significant problems.
The beauty of our federal system, you can look around and see what works and what doesn't work. And what we're doing in education, the status quo in education is not working. COVID lockdowns are not working. Having a governor that cares more about how many books she sells in Martha's Vineyard than whether or not our kids can read isn't working. So let's take a state, Mississippi, poorer than us still. I mean, we're trying to catch up, unfortunately, here in Michigan. But 10 years ago, they came together like every kid by the end of third grade needs to be able to read. And what did they do? They decided we need to do phonics-based science of reading. Get that into the schools. We need to get literacy coaches for our teachers to make sure that they're learning how to teach this. And if they're falling behind in third grade, by third grade, you have intensive tutoring. I actually passed that a few years ago, and Governor Whitmer vetoed that. And then the final thing is that you got to build up the teachers, build up the students, build up the expectations. And if you're not reading by the end of third grade, you're going to have that guarantee, and they don't move on until they're able to. And my hope is that it's all about the kids and making sure that our next generation can make it here in Michigan. And unfortunately, it's been about the adults for way too long, and we're just not performing like we should.
That Mississippi miracle that you reference has been written about. It's been talked about. It is the blueprint. How or why we as a state don't just model ourselves after that. The lay person has such a hard time understanding why we can't just follow that.
It's not just Mississippi. Florida did this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They made those changes. Indiana did this a few years ago. Louisiana, Tennessee. There's a lot of states. And remember, we're a bottom 10 state in per capita income. We're a top 20 state in what we spend on education. We have to make sure we're a top 10 state in the kids getting results. And that means every kid should be able to read. Every kid should be able to get into skilled trades. Every parent should have a choice of where they send their kids to school.
Senator, I got to ask you a last question. Will you stand up for anything that Governor Whitmer says tonight?
My dad always wore a shirt that says he stands for the flag and kneels for the cross. And so I will be standing if we're celebrating our troops and if we're celebrating our American citizens and working to keep them safe. I'll be sitting on my hands if she's off praising illegal immigrants and trying to get them social welfare.
Fair enough. Senator, Michigan State Senator, Minority Leader Eric Nesbitt, running for governor in the state of Michigan as well. I'd love to continue the conversation with you anytime. Open door here.
Thanks. Stay safe on the roads out there.
You got it.
Yep.
All right, we're coming right back. We are live from CGSI. That's the Governmental Consultant Services here in Lansing. As our fine host today here on 760 WJR. We're going to talk to Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall. We'll do that next as we preview the State of the State address, 760 WJR.
Enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Hennion and Walsh was made for people like you. People who value speaking to the right people at the right time. That's why we answer the phone ourselves, to understand you and help you invest for the life you want, because you've earned it. We're Hennion and Walsh, and a human connection. Get a second opinion. Call 800-279-5279 or find us online. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Hennion & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Hennion & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
WJR welcomes the legendary Frankie Valli of the Four Seasons for the last show in Detroit. Be there for this very special event, Mother's Day, May 10th at the Detroit Opera House, presented by Andiamo Restaurants. You could win tickets from WJR. Qualify for our grand prize dinner for two at Andiamo. Text keyword mother to 800-859-0957. Tickets on sale February 27th at Ticketmaster. Exclusive pre-sale for WJR listeners starts Tuesday, February 24th. Use password VALLI, that's VALLI. Details at WJR.com. Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
The Salvation Army's Bed and Bread program services this community's most vulnerable citizens thanks to your contributions. Give today at sametrodetroit.org or donate to this year's Radiothon kicking off at 4 p.m. February 26th on 760 WJR. 760 WJR. Custom built for Detroit. WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't wait to save. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale ends soon. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right bed for your specific needs. Easier search, better rest. Get both today. They make sleep easy.
Watch out for a wreck on I-94 westbound after East Outer Drive that's blocking your right lane. M5 northbound, you're on ramp from 12 Mile Road. We've got some construction there. That's scheduled to wrap up in about 15 minutes. I-94 westbound approaching Connor Street. Steer clear of some road work blocking your right lane. That's scheduled from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. daily through Friday. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Quick warm up for the late week forecast, but a couple of cold fronts give us a chilly day today and a colder night tonight. West winds breezy, flurry or 2, high 35, low 15 tonight. Partly cloudy Thursday, high 33. Friday, partly cloudy, south winds briefly warmer at 50 degrees, and then a big drop to the numbers early March. Sunday, Monday, highs in the 20s, lows in the teens. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Hi, it's Paul W. Smith. Join us Thursday, noon to 2, and we'll recap the governor's State of the State address, getting lots of different thoughts and opinions. That's coming up Thursday, noon to 2. Focus with me, Paul W. Smith.
Her final State of the State address. Just across the way from me at the state capitol, we are at the Governmental Consultant Services, GCSI. Our good friend Mike Hawks hosting us here today. Want to give him some thanks for letting us use his facility as we have access to all of these great lawmakers here in the state of Michigan, including Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall. Speaker Hall, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you about the president's speech last night before we look ahead to the governor's speech tonight. Your initial thoughts were?
I really thought it was a good speech. I think he did a great job of making a case for how his policies are bringing down costs, helping people save more of their money. And really what a great job he's done on securing the border, bringing down crime. It was really a good thing. Even the work he's doing on most favored nation status to bring down drug prices by cutting out a lot of these middlemen, you can go right to Trump RX and get much bigger discounts on your drugs. So he's doing a lot on healthcare affordability, no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security, securing our nation, securing our borders, and keeping us safe. So I think there's some good things that he's talked about.
You were actually featured in on the White House social media account for the no tax on tips, no tax on overtimes. That has had a significant impact here on workers in Michigan, has it not?
Yeah, and one of the things I was able to get in a deal with Gretchen Whitmer last year was no tax on tip, overtime, Social Security, and your state taxes. So when people are filing their taxes this year, they're going to get that amplified for their federal taxes and their state taxes. So we estimate the average Michigander will save $1,500 if they're a tipped worker on their taxes. They'll get $1,500 on average if they're an overtime worker, and about $500 on their Social Security if they're on Social Security. And many people will get more than that, but by amplifying that working families tax cut, we got that done. I was at the White House a couple weeks ago, meeting with some of the cabinet secretaries, talking about issues important to Michigan, and I had the opportunity to make that video.
Yeah, to be featured in that, I thought was really, really impressive. Let me ask you about some of the priorities here in the state of Michigan. I feel like, on the outside looking in, that you and the governor in this political climate work about as good together as we see in politics these days. Last night, when Democrats are sitting on their hands about is your priority for American citizens or for illegal immigrants, it just looks like there is such a divide in this country. What would you say to people on the outside about working together, working across the aisle? Because you guys have gotten things done together.
We have, yeah. And, you don't have to oppose everything just because the other party is proposing it. Now,
you don't? I thought that's what you had to do in 2026.
I know. What I've tried to do is I've tried to put bold ideas on the table, and I've tried to put them through our chamber and put votes on the line. What the politicians usually do up here is they're afraid to take bold positions. They're afraid to go on the record. I think that's one of the reasons the Democrats lost the House and I became Speaker was they played it safe. I mean, you heard Mike Duggan come out and say when these guys controlled everything in government, they did nothing. The voters voted them out of office. Michigan was the only House chamber in the country that flipped last election. And President Trump did well in other states and it didn't flip. So I came in, I said, we're going to be bold. We're going to lead on the issues that matter to people, and we're going to challenge the other party to put their ideas on the table. Someone has to make a first move. So I've made that first move.
Talk to me about that.
On roads, the governor reciprocated. We got a deal. Now we're funding roads. Now I'm doing that on tax reform. I'm proposing the biggest tax reform in Michigan's history. And I'm challenging Governor Whitmer to come to the table with a plan. Just because this is Governor Whitmer's last year doesn't mean we have to play it safe. It doesn't mean we have to coast. Her and these Senate Democrats, and a lot of them, maybe they're thinking about their next job, which is why I want to ban the politicians from becoming lobbyists, by the way. We're working on that. But let's focus right now. We still have time where we can do bold things to help people. That's why I put forward the biggest tax reform in Michigan's history. I want to end the property tax, the state property tax. That'll save the average homeowner $900 a year. I want to get rid of the personal property tax, which is a huge tax for our small businesses and adds a lot of cost to our energy bill. And then I want to force the utilities to lower their rates by $1 billion. So we get about $200 a year in savings on our energy bills. I want to also eliminate this pop-up tax. Florida is doing it. The reason some of those property tax reforms of the past didn't work is because you sell your home and then your taxes go up 2 or 3 times on the value of your home. We want to get rid of that pop-up tax. And then we're looking at replacing it with a service tax on some services. And I would say what we've done is we've exempted what I would consider essential services like healthcare, personal care, landscaping, a lot of those everyday services you use. And there's enough money there where you can replace most of this funding by taxing things like AI services and limousines and private jets and a lot of these other services that people have discretionary money. They're not as price sensitive. We can replace most of this tax with that. And the net result is working families in the state are going to save thousands of dollars.
And that sounds incredible. All of that sounds incredible. But how does that work get done? I mean, I saw this recently. This is states gaining the most population, states losing the most population. North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Nevada, Texas, Arizona, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Idaho, gaining the most population. People are moving to those states. Donald Trump won all 10 of those states. States losing the most population. California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Colorado, Maryland, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and Connecticut. Kamala Harris won 9 of 10 of those states. What is the policy where that is driving people out of those states? All of these high taxes. You talk about eliminating all of those taxes. You hear that? Look, I'm about to write a check tax time next month. And you're like, what are we doing here? All of these taxes. How do you get that work done? It sounds great.
Yeah. Well, I did it last year with the roads deal. We're going to work really hard to do it this year, and I think you got to keep the pressure on the others. But to answer your question, the states that are growing are cutting their income tax and property taxes. They're making their business more customer service, customer friendly. Cutting regulations, and then the states that are struggling are the ones that are raising their taxes and not working to help their existing employers grow. So in Michigan, we're out headhunting, looking for big deals. That's what Governor Whitmer's been doing, instead of focusing on growing and making it easier for our existing employers. So that's what we've got to do, is make a better environment locally and cut some property taxes and income taxes. This is the first step.
I've got about a minute left. Let me ask you about education. How do we improve education in this state? Because being ranked 44th or anywhere near that is not great. I was just at the Detroit Policy Conference last month or a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things you hear about these corporations, if we don't have an employee base to hire because K through 12 education is not there, how do we, in good conscience, not only bring a business here, but keep a business in the state?
So governor's proposed some changes on literacy, and I'd like to work with her on that and get more investment in literacy and also accountability for schools so that we know they're performing on the literacy requirements we put in place. If we can do that, we can be more like states like Mississippi, which have greatly improved their reading, and that'll unlock a lot of other things.
I'd love to continue this conversation with you, Speaker Hall. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, and we'll see you tonight.
Thank you.
You got it. Matt Hall, the Michigan House Speaker, previewing tonight's State of the State. Coming up next, the big three in the state of Michigan. We'll have that next. 760 WJR.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text WORD to 323232, WORD to 323232, WORD to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COIN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COIN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COIN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Custom built for Detroit. 760 WJR.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. President Trump praising his work on border security during last night's State of the Union address. Vice President J.D. Vance on Fox says the president's address showed how much of a sad display the Democratic Party has become.
What a sad commentary that is on the Democratic Party, that the idea that the American government should stand for American citizens, not illegal aliens, that shouldn't be controversial, but apparently it was to the Democrats.
Several Democratic officials choosing to boycott last night's address and attend different events in Washington, D.C. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is sitting for an exclusive interview with Fox as he emphasized more action needs to be taken against Russia's Vladimir Putin to get him to the negotiating table.
We need more packages on Putin. We need more stopped tankers. Thanks to President, by the way, he stopped some tankers, some shadow fleets. So it's very good steps.
America is listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Sponsored by the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA. Put the expertise and skill of NECA contractors to work on your commercial, industrial, or public electrical construction project. NECA members like Fontanesi and Kahn are powering Michigan's future project after project on time and on budget. Learn more at smcneca.org. Some good news, that wreck on I-94 westbound after East Outer Drive has cleared. Still have a little bit of construction going on I-94 westbound approaching Connor Street. That's blocking your right lane. Going to be that way from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily through Friday. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon, a high of 36. Partly cloudy skies with a low of 15 for tonight. Partly sunny for Thursday with a high near 33. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
When Michigan's underground systems fail, everyone feels it. Old water and stormwater pipes mean flooded streets, dirty water, and damaged roads. These systems protect our homes, our schools, and the places we work, but many were built generations ago and can't keep up today. If we don't fix what's underground, we risk what's above ground. Safety, jobs, and our future. A strong Michigan depends on strong infrastructure starting below the surface. It's time to invest before small problems become big disasters. Learn more by visiting the website thinkmita.org.
Hi friends, Bill Gonling here, invited to come see our great selection and great values during our President's Day sales event at Gonling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Right now, well-qualified Chrysler employees with lease loyalty can lease a 2026 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for just $289 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down, plus tax, title, place, and Dakar Extra. That's Gonling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Roseville, Chelsea, and our newest location on Mac in Detroit are always at Gonling.com.
In business, we know the best ROI comes from investing in proven talent. For 25 years, the College, Career, and Beyond, a midnight golf program, has been Detroit's premier pipeline for leadership, discipline, and success, boasting a 98% college acceptance rate for more than 3,000 Detroit high school seniors. On April 30th, we celebrate this milestone at the city's newest landmark, Hudson's Detroit. This isn't just a gala, it's a high-level networking summit featuring 450 of Detroit's most influential donors and business leaders, with an appearance by Golf Channel's Rich Lerner. This is a unique opportunity to put your brand in front of a high net worth audience of golfers and professionals with innovative tax-deductible advertising opportunities, including naming rights to our new state-of-the-art golf lounge. Whatever your business, auto, finance, real estate, put yourself at the intersection of Detroit's business future and community impact. Visit collegecareerbeyond.org and click sponsorship for details. Secure your legacy today. Wow, did you see this?
Barrett News Media. What is that?
Well, they're a national publishing and consulting firm. Media professionals all read their stuff. But look at who they have in the top 15 of the best radio shows in the entire country.
Oh, Focus with Paul W. Smith.
Yeah. JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
And, of course, The Mitch Albom Show.
I guess that's what they mean when they say the great voices of the Great Lakes.
I always thought I had a pretty great voice. I really do.
Don't sing, hon. Don't. It ain't that great.
Barrett News Media says they're the tops in the country. Catch all of the great weekday shows and see for yourself the great voices of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR. You're listening to JR Afternoon on WJR, sponsored by the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association and by GCSI. Once again from GCSI in Lansing, Ryan Ermanni.
I don't think there's any cooler picture than the one I just got to take with the big three here in the state of Michigan. I'm talking about the big three county executives in our state. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle, Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. I don't even know where to start. Who gets the first question?
It's always Mark. It's always Mark.
He's the one that likes to kick it off.
And end it.
I'm actually the senior statesman. I've been actually in the role longer than the three of us.
Almost 3 decades you've been coming to these things.
27. This is my 27th in a row. First one I ever came to was when Jennifer Granholm was the governor at the time. So
And
I
you
was a sheriff.
And you wanted to keep going?
Yeah, you know what? It was. I actually enjoy it. It's a lot of fun coming up here, and you get the folks at GCSI are great hosts, by the way. It's a great event, and again, an opportunity to hear from the governor. What's happening and kind of the direction we're going to be, where we've been and where we're headed. So each one of us has an opportunity to do that with our state of the county. So I think not just out of respect, but to really make sure people understand we do care what's going on at the state level. It's not just about what's happening at home in Macomb.
How much impact, I would assume a lot, of what the governor will say tonight do you guys bring home with you to your own counties to focus on?
An awful lot. I mean, she has to deal with, I think, more in terms of loss of federal funding. So she gets a bigger budget hole maybe than we do. But, what she's talking about doing with roads and what she's talking about doing with education and those things are critically important to our entire region. I won't just say Wayne County. So yeah, an awful lot of it is critically important to us, and we do take it home.
We talk about education so much as well, and I think all three of you would be on the same page. We need to do something about education in this state as a whole to bring it back up. You see it in your neighborhoods, in your counties as well. It's not great what's happening in terms of education in this state.
We are falling behind, and I saw a poll that showed that the average Michigan voter doesn't realize how far behind we've got a job to do to make people understand that if we're going to be competitive, we got to get our education better. And I know the governor is going to talk about literacy tonight. That's going to be one of her primary things for her last year. That's critically important. I don't know how much detail she'll get into, but I'm very curious about, our third grade reading level is just abysmal, and we have to get back to the basics. And the business community understands this. The governor sounds like she understands this, and I hope, she's unusual in this way. She's leaving office as popular, if not more popular, than when she got in, and I don't think that's happened since George Romney. So normally by the last year, the governor has spent their capital. Nobody cares what they say anymore.
Sure.
But I get a different vibe this year, but just because she is still as relevant this year as she was last year. So it'll be an interesting speech.
But as you said, one of the things about that, any governor in the country would love to have her approval rating right now. Despite that, there are real significant challenges in this state that need to have real solutions to these real problems. And it feels like so many of these problems are so big to tackle. Where do you even start?
But the nice thing is they're not self-made. At least she doesn't feel, and the public doesn't feel
maybe
like
that's what it is.
She created it.
Sure, maybe that's what it is.
But yeah, and she seems to, be stringent enough that she works on different ways to deal with it. I mean, people will sit here and argue all day about whether or not, the gas tax ought to be this or this ought to be that. But it's a real leader that at least keeps throwing out options and trying to create ways to get us where we need to go. And clearly that's an issue. And you talk about education, again, ever since COVID, the numbers, at least in Wayne County, and I think other places
around
too, the numbers of students going to school has dropped significantly. Forget about what they learn when they're there. If they don't get there, that's another issue. And so you got to start enticing and getting these kids to come back to school. And you don't come back to school if there's not something relevant there for you, or or your parents make you a sandwich and send you to school instead of who knows what's happening in a lot of communities, a lot of places.
Mark, you want to weigh in?
You can't. Let's not lose sight of what has been accomplished. I mean, when you stop and you think about it, and the governor has been very relentless when it comes to education, but even roads. From day one, she was talking about fix the damn roads, but she knew, and we understood it was about fixing the funding. And so, with that being said, that relentless positive action that Governor Snyder talked about. Well, I think this governor applied it when it came to the road funding. And so, with that being said, she worked with Matt Hall, she worked with the Republicans, and with that, they came up with a solution that is going to be sustainable. It's substantial, and it's going to have an impact on our roads from the driveway to the highway. So she was, in the meantime, figuring out what she needed to do with state highways, with MDOT. They bonded something, but she understood she still needed to be part of that solution when it came to local road funding, and she did. So, you can't lose sight of the fact that, a lot has been accomplished. We're all expecting, to hear some good things that are going to be happening, obviously, in the future. But, to her credit, that's one of the things that she was really passionate about, and we're very fortunate to see the outcome of that. Finally,
you talk about her working across the aisle with Speaker Hall. All three of you work brilliantly with members of all parties in your communities, in your counties, in all of the different cities, state and local government. We want, that's how we want that to work, right? I mean, what we saw last night, I mean, I just, as somebody that, wants everything to be so hunky-dory, as somebody that's so optimistic about everything, you look at that last night and it just felt like our country is so divided. How are state and local governments different from what we saw last night?
The issues are more direct. They're more grassroots, right? There's not a Republican or a Democratic way to fix the road, maybe to fund a road, but not to fix it. And so there's a lot more area to work together with. But we've also, the three of us I know, and I think the governor, as you mentioned, is like this. There's still some of us who are old school enough that actually just want to get stuff done and are willing to work across the aisle. That's getting harder and harder to do. There are people in my party and the other party that just won't talk to each other anymore. And then you have what happened last night. But I think if you're going to be effective, if you actually want to not just have the job, but to get things done and to create progress for your residents, it's a necessity. It's how our system was created. Compromise might be a bad word for some folks these days, but it's how the founding fathers envisioned the Constitution working.
And I think that's what, when you stop and you think about it, when the governor went to Selfridge Air Base alongside of Donald Trump, and they made an announcement that they were going to have new fighters out there. That was an incredible moment, because that was a moment where you started to realize what elected officials are supposed to do. When you get elected as a Republican or Democrat, that's when you need to set that aside. You're in office now. Forget this reaching across the aisle. Get in the aisle. You're there not to represent a party. You're there to represent the people of the United States. If you're the president, you're there to represent the people of Michigan. If you're the governor. So what you need to do is focus on what your job is and quit talking about, us versus them. And I think what you saw last night was unfortunately a lot of that, and as a leader, we got to set that aside and start figuring out what do we need to do to pull people together on both sides of the aisle to support what the people are looking for, whether it's the executive, whether it's the governor, and or if you're the president of the United States.
And we need the media to do that as well. And Ryan, I appreciate you and a lot of the hosts on WJR
so much.
who do a good job of doing that.
Thank you so much. Last word?
We've got to make things happen as executives. We don't have the ability to do the legislative function, which is hard enough when you're talking to each other, but is absolutely bizarre when it's as partisan as it is now. And I mean, I see legislative people, quite frankly, their whole mission in life is to go and show their constituents how mad they are about this, that, or the other thing. You don't solve any problems doing that. If you're not prepared to give and take, and I think it's the wrong business.
Southeast Lower Michigan is better because you three are involved. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Mark Hackle, Warren Evans, Dave Coulter, we appreciate you all. Coming right back, 760 WJR.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-245-7095 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-245-7095. That's 800-245-7095. Again, 800-245-7095.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text WORD to 323232, WORD to 323232, WORD to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
That accident on I-94 westbound after East Outer Drive is cleared. We still have some construction blocking your right lane on I-94 westbound approaching Connors Street. And expect occasional stop and go on I-696 eastbound from Orchard Lake Road to just past Franklin Road. Traffic is being funneled to the Lodge. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Mid-30s with breezy west winds today. It's cold tonight, down to 15 degrees. A couple of cold fronts marching through Michigan. There's some snows up north, and we've got a flurry or two here this afternoon. Thursday, partly cloudy, 33. Friday, partly cloudy, south winds, briefly warmer, high 50 degrees on Friday. And then a drop to the numbers for early March with highs Sunday and Monday only in the 20s, lows in the teens and 20s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Governmental Consultant Services Incorporated in Lansing, Michigan. I want to thank CEO Mike Hawks for having us here and being a gracious host. We have so many people to talk to. Just had the big three county executives that we discussed, and I want to invite our YouTube audience as well who are watching along the way. I want to bring in Laura Oppel. She is the Senior Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer, Michigan Health and Hospital Association. We've also got Lance Benanimi, who is the Vice President of Governmental Affairs for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation. Thank you both for being here. Lance, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. Laura, let me begin with you because healthcare is something that so many people are focused on. It drives so much of how they live their life. What can you tell us about some of the priorities and where you see the industry and cost and everything like that?
Well, thanks for that question. I really appreciate the emphasis on trying to figure out how to keep our costs under control. And hospitals are doing things to improve patient care all the time by doing the right care at the right place at the right price. And it shows in Michigan, we're the third lowest hospital prices in the country out of the all 50 states. So it's a lot of cost pressure, however, on hospitals to try and do everything they need to do for patient care at those lower prices. But, you know, that doesn't necessarily address the out-of-pocket costs that folks experience. And so we need to do more things to improve our efficiency. We'd love to see our payer partners work with us on reducing administrative burden, things like that, to move costs around in a way that they don't impact individuals quite so much.
What is driving those costs up? Because to hear you say that Michigan is the third lowest hospital cost, yet our friends, our neighbors, look at the cost of the out-of-pocket cost of healthcare, and your eyes go bonkers out of your head.
A lot of people have high deductible health plans, so at the beginning of the year, everything is out of pocket. And I personally experienced that with a prescription drug that I use, that when they told me what it was going to cost, I was like, oh, that's just a little like, it gets your
Sticker
attention.
shock.
Right. It's some sticker shock. And so, but we also need to figure out how we can bend the health curve, not just the cost curve, but the health curve. We have nearly 1 million people who know they have diabetes in our country, in our state, and a couple 100,000 who have it but don't know it. Everybody with diabetes, or a person with diabetes on average, their healthcare costs are about 2.5 times what the average person is. And we have 3 million people with pre-diabetes just in Michigan. And so if everybody is becoming more and more ill, we're really going to have a hard time bending that cost curve. We have to figure out a way to turn the corner on the health of Michiganders so they can all live, work, and play, right?
It does feel like it's sick care and not health care a little bit, and how we get healthier. There's a million different conversations we can have there, but we should start there.
I would like to just start with just don't get worse.
Right.
If you have pre-diabetes, don't develop diabetes. If you have diabetes, work to control your diabetes, those kinds of things. But the same thing could be said for heart disease or kidney disease or hypertension. We have a lot of things that we can pay attention to.
What will you be focused on tonight in terms of healthcare and that part of the discussion that the governor will have at the State of the State? And what would you like to hear tonight?
I think the governor is going to talk about medical debt. And I want her to
Big
know
deal.
that our hospitals are her partner when it comes to medical debt. Most hospitals are required, and nearly all hospitals have, even if they're not required, programs to help people with medical debt. And we need to do an even better job of getting that word out. I don't know if she'll mention her funding strategies for Medicaid. The big bill is really going to hit Michigan hospitals over the next several years. More than $6 billion will come out of Michigan hospital reimbursement, which puts a lot of pressure on everything else. So I'd like to hear her talk about full support for the Medicaid funding we have now and not cut us early or anything like that.
Laura Oppold, Senior Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer, Michigan Health and Hospital Association. Thank you so much for being here. Let me bring in Lance Benanimi, Vice President of Governmental Affairs, Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Industry. You're a very important person to talk to because we talk about these roads all the time. How do you see the last several years, specifically the last year or so? It does feel like our state roads, our federal highways are improving.
Yeah, we've certainly seen a lot of investments over the last 5 years, particularly in our highway system. The governor's bonding program was $3.5 billion that went into roads. The Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act out of Congress was a 5-year program that infused about $350 million more into our roads each year. So we've seen significant investments in our highway system. But while that has happened, our roads have been diverted over to the local roads, and traffic has beat up on those roads while those haven't seen a significant investment during that time period. Fortunately, last year, the legislature did pass a $1.85 billion program that focuses mostly on the local roads. And so they are beginning to show progress.
Talk to me about that because, local roads are roads that people drive on in their neighborhoods, and that can't be looked past either. I mean, we've had all of this traffic, as you mentioned, diverted to the local roads. Now they need a little TLC.
Yeah, we've certainly seen those roads get beat up pretty bad, and you don't have to go far from your driveway to see that. And so we know this money will go a long way. We're going to see a lot of improvements on our local systems.
What are some of the things that you would like to hear tonight? What are some of the priorities for your industry?
Well, we certainly expect the governor to take a victory lap on the roads program. Her and the legislature, I think, did a very good job last year of coming together bipartisanly to come up with a road solution, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. I'm hopeful that she doesn't say the job is done. Every study shows that we need at least $4 billion more for our roads annually. So $1.85 billion is less than half of that. So there's still more work to be done, and we hope that future legislatures will build upon this progress to do more funding for roads.
Billions more dollars. Is that there? You know, traditionally the roads are funded through, user fees, registration, gas taxes, things like that. Nobody seems to have an appetite for that, I would imagine.
Yeah, we've certainly seen probably is the most pressure we can on the gas tax, and that's why the state needs to look at the other alternative methods into raising user fees. You know, every surrounding state that we have utilizes toll roads. We don't use any toll roads in Michigan. Our gas tax is
that something that would be on the table?
It's something that's been studied in the state. There is a feasibility study that came out a few years ago. So, even just tolling 94, which desperately needs it, sees a lot of commercial traffic. You could see a couple of $1 billion increase for road funding for those local roads surrounding it.
I travel on I-94 daily. Let me tell you, it could use a lot of TLC. Lance, thanks so much. We're going to talk to you in our next hour as well. We've got more questions coming up, but this has been a phenomenal hour, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you being with us here on this preview of the State of the State on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon in the city of Lansing, wherever you are, however you're listening, 760 WJR, WJR.com, or, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm waving to you right now. We love all of our live streamers on YouTube. Just pull up YouTube.com or the YouTube app. You can subscribe to 760 WJR. It will not cost you a thing. It'll just make it easier for you to find us when you're looking for us. Don't go anywhere. We are packed. Hour number 2 straight ahead. You are locked in 760 WJR.
Hi, friends. Bill Golly here, and let's get that New Year's resolution completed with a brand new Jeep during our President's Day sales event at Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This month, well-qualified Chrysler employees with lease loyalty can lease a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 for just $319 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down, plus tax title plates and dock car extra. So come see our great values at Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, or our newest location on Mac in Detroit, or always at Golling.com.
Enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Your business isn't one size fits all, and your IT partner shouldn't be either. At Callisto Group, we provide cybersecurity-focused managed IT services designed around your business, offering personalized support, proactive monitoring, and experts who know your company by name. There's no call centers, no guesswork, just seamless technology and trusted partnership. Discover the difference at CallistoGroup.com. That's CALYSTO Group.com.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
Hope for peace. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Ahead of the next round of trilateral talks on Ukraine, Vice President J.D. Vance telling Fox.
Right now, I think the president has some good optimism that we can bring this thing to a successful close.
President Trump holding a call today with Ukraine's President Zelensky, who also spoke with Fox's Greg Palkot in Kiev.
He had some tough talk about his Russian foe, Vladimir Putin, accusing him of using the current negotiation process to further his offensive aims.
I think that they play this game. They try to play with President of the United States.
You think Putin is playing a game?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, he needs to postpone any kind of negotiations.
Zelensky says Ukrainian representatives will meet with Trump envoys tomorrow in Geneva in preparation for a trilateral meeting with Russia in early March. Those Trump envoys will be in Geneva for a third round of nuclear talks with Iran tomorrow. The president turning more attention to the U.S. economy in his State of the Union.
There was no substance in that speech, but a lot of snake oil.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, as Democrats hold a midterm strategy retreat in Virginia, Vice President Vance says Democrats offer no solutions.
I think that we've got a lot of momentum here.
He says the president is asking Americans to let Republicans keep fixing a mess they inherited. An FBI raid in the nation's second largest school district, LA, and the home of its superintendent.
FBI agents seen executing search warrants at the San Pedro home of Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho and the district's headquarters in downtown LA. The agency confirming the warrants were signed by a judge but are sealed, not revealing the reason for the raid. But a source tells the Associated Press this is part of an ongoing investigation.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, a third location also searched in Florida, where Carvalho previously served as head of the Miami-Dade County Public Schools. America is listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
Look out for a wreck on I-96 westbound after M59. We also have an accident on the I-75 northbound off-ramp to I-94. Your left lane is blocked there. Some slowdowns on 75 northbound between Kniff Street and 8 Mile, and on I-94 eastbound between Warren Avenue and Connors Street. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon with a high of 36, partly cloudy skies with a low of 15 for tonight. Partly sunny for Thursday with a high near 33. I'm Rich Fluzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Slip and fall accidents can happen anywhere, especially in winter with ice and snow. When a business does nothing to protect its customers from danger and someone gets hurt, then it becomes our business. Michigan Slip and Fall Lawyers is Michigan's only law firm specializing in slip and fall cases, with millions recovered in compensation for our clients. We're here to protect you all year round. Go to falllaw.com now for your free consultation. That's falllaw.com.
Tonight, someone in our community will need a warm bed. Tomorrow, they'll need a meal. You can help make both possible. Join the club that's here for good by texting BREAD to 24365. Your support helps provide over 71,000 nights of shelter and more than 1.6 million meals a year. Tune in to the Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on 760 WJR, Friday, February 27th.
We're on Instagram at WJR Radio.
Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
Live from the offices of GCSI in Lansing, this is JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermanni. Sponsored by the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association and by GCSI. Here's Ryan.
Hour number 2 of the program here in Lansing, ahead of the State Address. Governor Gretchen Whitmer's final address to the state of Michigan as governor of this great state. This on the heels of last night's State of the Union address by President Trump. I want to play one thing for it just to me highlights where we are as a country. And I can't stop thinking about it. And it will be on every political ad you will see leading up to the November election in 2026. Kelsey Phillips is back at the station. Kelsey, cut one for me. Donald Trump.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Last night, Democrats sat on their hands when he asked that question, and I just found that to be such an indication of where we are as a country, such a polarizing moment for where our politics is. Let me bring in Mike Cox. He is the former Michigan Attorney General running for governor as a Republican, looking to be the nominee of the GOP in this state. Mr. Cox, how are you, sir? Thanks so much.
I'm doing great, Ryan, and you're 100% right. That question should be really easy for most any American to answer.
A layup. Right?
A layup, and for me, it hits home. I was a prosecutor for 13 years in Detroit in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. We worked with ICE agents, DEA agents, ATF agents all the time. And my wife spent 13 years as an ICE agent. And so it hits home, hand in hand, federal law enforcement, state law enforcement, it should be, closely knitted. In my own town of Livonia, the mayor says she doesn't want Livonia to cooperate with ICE. And it happened just a month after ICE arrested a B&E guy. A B&E guy also had drug convictions from Israel. So it wasn't racial profiling. He was an Israeli who was in Livonia, and he was illegal, and he was a prior felon. And you know what? My neighbors feel safer as a result. It's that simple.
What is the against here in terms of working with law enforcement to get people who are criminals, especially in this case? Let's take that one case in Livonia out. Why is that such a hard thing?
It's crazy. If I was thinking about Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, been a while. Paul Newman won a bunch of Oscars, and where do the criminals go? They went across the border to Mexico. And we get the flip side of it. Obviously, not every illegal is criminal.
Well, sure,
of course. But when I prosecuted gang cases in Southwest Detroit, we had a fair amount of illegals went back and forth to Mexico. And, sometimes we have the Texas Rangers grab them at the border on the way back. And so it's just a really common sense proposition. We all should be on the side of law and order. And if people have problems about, wearing body cams or whatever, that can be dealt with. But to run around and say F ICE is just utterly irresponsible and sow seeds that someday will bloom into further hate, further disorder, and not helpful to Michigan or the United States.
Talking to Republican gubernatorial candidate Mike Cox here, former Michigan Attorney General. Mike, you were involved recently in a GoFundMe for the Detroit police officers who were suspended for 30 days for contacting a border patrol during a stop. $30,000, upwards of $30,000 has been raised on that. Why did you want to get involved in that, and what can you tell us about that?
Well, it grew out of what my wife did for a living, out of what I did for a living. And so you had the Sergeant Wallet and Officer Corsi. Similar circumstances, they stop someone involved, there's someone with them involved in a felony, they ID them, it's very common, or they try to ID them, they have false IDs, they get portable fingerprint scanners, can't identify them. And so what are you supposed to do, cut loose a possible terrorist? And so they call the feds, who have other databases, and they get dinged by the chief. It's utterly crazy to me. And that's why, in fact, for anyone out there, if you just go to supportdetroitpolice.com, they'll take you right to the GoFundMe. They need more help because they were going to be fired. The chief backed off because of public pressure, thankfully. But being suspended without pay for a month, that's in their permanent record. That will permanently harm them. Sergeant Wallet, she's toward the
27 years.
27 years.
Yeah.
That could hurt her pension points. And so we're trying to get $75,000 to help them with their legal funds and cost of living, that kind of thing. And it's just a way to say, once again, hey, we support local police. We support the federal police. We support law and order. And we want, safe, strong communities.
To run for governor in the state of Michigan, I mean, God bless anybody that wants to do it. How do you go about the next several months? What does that look like for you? How do you get in there? Will there be a debate even? How does this work over the next several months as we work to find a Republican nominee?
Well, Ryan, I've been at it for 14 months now. And so what you do is you raise money. I've raised the most money so far out of all the candidates, but more so you go out and meet voters every single night of the week. I've been at it 24/7. And they say politics is hard, and it is occasionally, but I ran a business for the past 14 years after I left office. And let me tell you, it's a lot harder, making sure you can make payroll every 2 weeks. And so I'm having the time of my life. It's a different part of my life. My kids are growing up. So I don't have to worry about the competition between kid time, family time. And I'm just focused on two things: fix our economy and fix education. If we get those two things right, the rest of the world takes care of itself.
Let me ask you about that, because per capita income for Michigan families, I believe it's 40th out of 50 states. Education in the state of Michigan, I believe it's 44th out of 50 states. At least that's what recent polling is. There are real problems in this state. How do you go about fixing them? I mean, I know it's a big question. I got about a minute left.
Sure. Really easy. We don't have to be the smartest, most creative. Steal the best ideas from other states. My granddaughters in Mississippi, they've been part of the Mississippi Miracle.
Unbelievable.
Where Mississippi went from 49th to 9th in 12 years. And they've been beneficiaries. They get a better education there than the kids in Livonia. Just steal all their ideas. Phonics, make sure kids read by 3rd grade, tutoring for kids, coaching for teachers. And then flip side of that, steal what Florida, Texas, Wyoming, New Hampshire are doing in the economy. Eliminate the income tax. That'll allow 900,000 small businesses in Michigan, add jobs, and we will start booming again.
And by the way, we used to do that in Michigan too, years ago. And then for whatever reason, I'll never understand it, you got away from that phonics, not you, but we as a state got rid of that phonics-based reading, and we have gone south ever since. The blueprint is there. The model is set. Why we don't go back to it, I will never be able to fully comprehend that.
Next January 1, we'll steal the best ideas and make it pay off.
Mike Cox running for governor in the state of Michigan as a Republican. Thank you, sir. Well, let's continue this conversation anytime. Open door here for anybody running for governor in the state of Michigan. I love this conversation. All right, we're going to take a break. Come right back live in Lansing ahead of the state of the state. 760 WJR.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
When Michigan's underground systems fail, everyone feels it. Old water and stormwater pipes mean flooded streets, dirty water, and damaged roads. These systems protect our homes, our schools, and the places we work, but many were built generations ago and can't keep up today. If we don't fix what's underground, we risk what's above ground. Safety, jobs, and our future. A strong Michigan depends on strong infrastructure starting below the surface. It's time to invest before small problems become big disasters. Learn more by visiting the website thinkmita.org.
Our representative Tom Barrett is standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. He knows the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
No matter the time of the year, it's good for the mind, body, and soul to get out there. Luckily, we're in Michigan, one of the most beautiful places in the country. I'm Dave Lorenz. Join us Sunday at 4 for the Michigan Travel Show here on 760 WJR.
The Dan Bongino Show.
Damn, I miss you all. I've got so much content bottled up in my head. I got a lot of stuff. This is the kind of stuff. It's real. May not hear this anywhere else.
Hard truths.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about that you think is going to open a lot of eyes, and a lot of ignoramuses are going to get shut down.
And a bold perspective no one else can offer.
They are freaking out.
It's the comeback everyone's been waiting for.
Lovers, haters, friends, supporters, detractors, you're all welcome. I want to hear it all.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
See you there.
Visit Old St. Patrick Catholic Church for their 48th annual Lenten Fish Fry dinners every Friday, February 20th through March 27th from 4:30 till 7 p.m. Dinners include fish, choice of potato or mac and cheese, salad, and a beverage. Adult meals are $18 with discounts for seniors and children. Kids 4 and under eat free. St. Patrick Catholic Church is located at 5671 Whitmore Lake Road in Ann Arbor. For more information, visit stpatricka2.org.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green. Don't waste another weekend doing your lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up at truegreen.com. Then sit back and relax.
WJR Traffic and Weather First is sponsored by Weather Seal Home Improvements. This year, don't just get a tax refund, upgrade it. Turn your refund into a bigger return with a brand new roof from Weather Seal Home Improvements. Right now, they'll add an extra $1,000 to your refund toward your new roof. That's a smart deal. Book today at weathersealhomeimprovements.net. That's weathersealhomeimprovements.net. We have a wreck on I-96 westbound after M59. Another accident on the I-75 northbound off-ramp to I-94. That's blocking your left lane. Some slowdowns on 75 northbound between Kniff Street and 8 Mile. Also on I-94 eastbound between Warren Avenue and Connors Street. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Couple of cold fronts marching on through Detroit. We've got some snows up north and mid-30s here this afternoon. Not impossible. Could see a flurry or two. Low tonight 15. Tomorrow partly cloudy 33. And then a quick warm-up with south winds on Friday up to 50 degrees. Numbers dropping again for late in the weekend and for early March with highs only in the 20s Sunday and Monday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Hi, it's Paul W. Smith. Join us Thursday, noon to 2, and we'll recap the governor's State of the State address, getting lots of different thoughts and opinions. That's coming up Thursday, noon to 2. Focus with me, Paul W. Smith.
760 WJR, welcome back. We are live in Lansing ahead of the State of the State address. Tonight, Governor Gretchen Whitmer will be giving her final State of the State address, and she's going to do so across the way from where I am right now at GCSI, the Governmental Consultant Services Incorporated here in Lansing. Our good friend Michael Hawks, the CEO of this fine company, want to thank him for his hospitality. Let me bring in the Democratic leader in the Michigan House, Ranjit Puri, as we preview tonight's State of the State address. Ranjit, thanks so much for being here. First and foremost, I am so I feel whole just as a citizen of Michigan to see all of the different lawmakers in this room here today. When you take the cameras, when you strip the microphones, when you're just human beings talking amongst each other, it feels like a different atmosphere than what we're used to seeing, whether it's on social media or on TV or on anywhere. Is that a true picture of interactions with one another, with lawmakers?
Absolutely. I think, we very much work in a relationship business. And I think for any lawmaker to be successful, especially amongst divided chambers that we see here in Lansing, it is important relationships with both parties.
Talk to me about some of the things that you're hoping to hear the governor talk about tonight. I know, and we fully expect a victory lap on the roads, a victory lap in so many different areas. What would you like to hear from her? And then moving forward, I know literacy is going to be a big focus for her in her final year as governor.
Yeah, I think the state of state's always a fantastic day where the eyeballs of the state turn to Lansing, and so there's always a buzz around town. I fully expect the governor to do a great job. This is her 8th and final state of the state, and so I think there's going to be somewhat of a victory lap for all the work that we've done together in her time serving as governor, and I hope that she also spends some time focused on just working Michiganders and making sure that we're finding a way to bring down costs and the affordability crisis that we find ourselves in right now. Access to healthcare is a big deal. I know there's a lot of chatter right now about making housing more affordable, and then just very much that you said some focus on education and literacy.
Talk to me about literacy for a second. Where we are as a state is something 44th, I believe, in 4th grade reading. Out of 50 states, this is something that clearly the governor is going to focus on. How do we get there? I think that is always the issue. We could talk about what the problems are. How do we get to that result?
I think just working off what we opened with. I think that this should not become a partisan issue. I think too much of education has become politicized. And our focus on education has been on the wrong parts of it. And so I think if we can have all heads working together to making sure that we are taking care of our kids and setting them up for success would only prove to be a worthy use of our time and our politics here in the state of Michigan. I myself have a few young kids. My oldest is in 4th grade. And so I'm having a front row seat watching some of these things play out in his local public school. And so for me, I just think we all need to be committed to making sure that every Michigan kid has a chance to reach their potential. And that's something that I don't think should be controversial for any party in all 83 counties wide. And I think if we can refocus our conversation to understanding that, I think we can actually make some strides.
Do you think we'll get common ground on that issue alone? I mean, it feels like we are such a divided political, in a divided political atmosphere right now as it is. Where is the common ground here in this state?
Yeah, I mean, I ask that question every day. There are things that I did not think would be politicized that fall into party line traps. And so it is becoming, unfortunately, that list of things is becoming smaller and smaller. I would hope that we can all agree that, our most precious resource is our kids' future potential. And that's something that we should be holding sacred and something that should be non-negotiable, that we're all going to do whatever we can to make sure that they succeed. But unfortunately, we had a long drawn out fight on school meals and making sure that kids could receive a free breakfast and lunch. Every kid in Michigan could receive a free breakfast and lunch. And that became a partisan party line fight. And these are things that I never thought would become politicized, but unfortunately, sometimes the politics takes over. But, what we try to do as I can only speak for myself and my caucus as House Democrats is we do want to just find a way to make sure that our kids are succeeding here in Michigan.
What is the leader in the House of the Democratic Party? What are some of the issues that you are focused on, that you are streamlining right now, that you really want to get across over the finish line over the next 12 months or over the next 10 months as it is to the election?
Yeah, it's not hard. I think it's very much things that are going to benefit the lives of working Michiganders across the state. I don't think that these things need to be controversial, but first and foremost, we are fighting back against the affordability crisis right now. Everyone knows the cost of groceries, the cost of housing, the cost of healthcare, the cost of childcare, the cost of gas. Everything is up right now, and it just doesn't seem like any actionable steps are actually being taken to deal with that. Largely, that's going to be led from DC. But some of those proposals and economic policies that come out of DC disproportionately affect Michigan. And this isn't necessarily a partisan fight. I'm a student of economics. When you talk about tariffs, us having our auto industry here in Michigan, we have the most exposure to international component parts than any other state in the country. Those things are going to disproportionately affect Michigan. And so we have not seen, a prioritization of making sure that we are taking care of our state, our industry, to make sure that we're going to be set up for success. And so I think that's a big piece of what we're going to be continuing to do this year.
You know a thing or two about the auto industry as well, that it's an area of focus for you. What about getting good paying jobs, getting employees into these jobs? You know, if you look around, it feels like there are a lot of openings at these jobs, but to get the skilled worker in there, there is a little bit of a vacuum there.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think there's one right size solution that's going to solve all this. I think in our time here in Lansing, we've done put out a couple programs to help upskill our workforce, the Michigan Reconnect program, and a couple others that have helped train people to get back into school, to get the skills they need to be able to succeed in the economy of tomorrow. And we should not be in a situation where that thousands of job openings are available, good paying job openings are available and going unfilled. That's clearly a sign of something not working. And so, we should be doing whatever we can to upskill our workforce to prepare for the economy of tomorrow.
Let me, final question, just about the auto industry and in some of the different shifts that we've seen Ford take a multi-billion-dollar bath on ditching EV programs. We've seen GM do the same in many cases. Cadillac go full bore ahead with EVs, though. Stellantis in some cases. Where was the disconnect with the EV? I don't want to say proposal, but where car companies wanted to go compared to where the consumer was?
Well, again, the nature of my world is, the politics come into the conversation. I think, unfortunately, for electric vehicles, they fell victim to becoming a political pawn. And the problem is here, as someone myself who worked professionally in Michigan's auto industry, this was a conversation that I am intimately familiar with. The EV transformation and evolution that's happening in the industry is something that is global. Countries around the world who are innovative, who are pouring billions and billions of dollars of R&D, are investing in the electric vehicle space. On top of all the other technologies that are coming in, the connected cars, the self-driving cars, all of that. The United States, squarely Michigan, and certain lawmakers in Michigan have decided that this is maybe an if conversation, not a when. And my fear is that we're going to get left behind.
I hope we can continue this conversation. You have an open door invite anytime you've got anything to say. I really enjoy the conversation. Ranjit Puri, the Democratic House leader in the state of Michigan. Thank you so much, sir. Enjoy
Thanks
tonight. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break. Come right back. 760 WJR.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hi friends, Bill Golly here from Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This February is Ram Truck Month, where every Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Right now, well-qualified Chrysler employees with loyalty can lease a 2026 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4 for just $359 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down, plus sex title plates and dock car extra. So come see us. That's Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, or our newest location on Mac in Detroit, or always at Golling.com.
At Average Amy's Coffee Corner, our coffee has caffeine, our muffins are cooked, and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Average doesn't build great businesses. Cumulus Digital does, outperforming industry benchmarks by more than 25%. We deliver smarter digital marketing to over 4,000 local businesses every month and drive real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
You're hearing the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR. We're on Instagram at WJR Radio.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Republicans largely praising President Trump's State of the Union address while condemning Democrats' reaction to the speech.
You had congressional Democrats. They wouldn't stand for the idea that children shouldn't be socially transitioned without their parents' wishes. They wouldn't stand for the idea that American citizens should come first.
Vice President J.D. Vance, Democrats, though, with a very different take on last night's address. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
There was no substance in that speech, but a lot of snake oil.
Most Democrats held their applause for the president. Others heckled him. The FBI raiding Los Angeles School District headquarters and the home of its superintendent. The agency confirming the warrants were signed by a judge, but they are sealed. So the reason for those raids are unclear. America is listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
We have an object on the roadway on I-275 northbound at M14. Some wood debris in the center lane. Please use caution there. Slowdowns on I-75 northbound between Kniff Street and 8 Mile. Also on I-94 eastbound between I-96 and Connor Street. Also on I-94 westbound between I-75 and Linwood. That accident on 75 northbound at I-94 is cleared. Same goes for that wreck on I-96 westbound after M59. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon with a high of 36. Partly cloudy skies with a low of 15 for tonight. Partly sunny for Thursday with a high near 33. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Hey gang, it's Ryan Ermanni here. I want to tell you about my friends at Game Day Men's Health in Plymouth. I've been working with them since mid-October, and in that time, I have never felt better in my adult life. I've been telling you guys that for a long time now. I've reached my goal weight down 30 pounds. I'm using them for weight loss, but they specialize in personalized, science-backed men's health treatments, testosterone replacement, peptide, medical weight loss, all designed specifically for men. At Game Day Men's Health in Plymouth, it is more than just an online point-and-click transaction. I've had my in-person check-in, real people, real results. Every treatment plan is customized to meet your specific needs. Do yourself a favor. Call them today for a complimentary consultation. 734-927-1718. That number again, 734-927-1718. Game Day Men's Health on Ann Arbor Road in Plymouth. 734-927-1718.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get...
Yeah, that'd be great. Good. Coming up at 2 o'clock on JR Afternoon, the State of the State address will have all the reaction and take your calls. What matters to you? It's all that and so much more. 760 WJR. Sorry, Danielle, if you can edit that a little bit, that'd be great. I really, truly apologize for that. That sucks. Thanks.
Bonus.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text WORD to 323232. WORD to 323232. WORD to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
Never miss
The Daily Dose.
The Daily Dose.
The Daily Dose
The Daily Dose
of Deets.
The Daily Dose of Deets. The top of mind topics and stories,
Because America keeps building, innovating, and growing.
but at a depth and breadth that only Kevin Dietz can conceive.
Love doesn't have to be built on these grand gestures.
It's Can't Miss Radio.
You can't fake that kind of leadership Verlander is going to be able to bring to Scooball.
Kevin's own unique take on news and entertainment that'll get you talking all day
Social media should not get a pass just because it's digital.
and into tomorrow. The Daily Dose of Dietz. First thing out of the gate on All Talk with Kevin Dietz. Weekdays at 9 on WJR. You're listening to JR Afternoon on WJR. Sponsored by the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association and by GCSI. Once again from GCSI in Lansing, Ryan Ermanni.
Well, look at that. We are going to be talking about infrastructure right now. No doubt about it. Our good friend Lance Benemini, Benanimi is here with us. Sorry, Lance. I nailed it before in the commercial break and in the last hour, and here I am doing my best. Vice President of Government Affairs for Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation. Also, Candace Miller is with us, the Macomb County Public Works Commissioner. Thank you both for being here. Candace Miller, it is so great to talk to you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You have been in public service for decades.
Careful now, careful.
And I say that because you have had such a track record of success, of actually doing the things that you say. As you look around in politics now and where we are, how do you juxtapose what people say and what they do? Because you've actually been a doer.
Well, I like to think I'm a problem solver, and all the different offices that I've had, I've sort of run for that particular office because I saw something was wrong there and I wanted to get my arms around it and hopefully transform a agency or department or whatever. So I've been very blessed that the people have given me the opportunities to do those kinds of things. But, there's really nothing magical to all of this. And I sort of lament the loss of civility that's happening. Obviously, I'm a Republican. I'm a pretty conservative Republican, but I know you just had my buddy Mark Hackle on here a few minutes ago. I mean, they call us the odd couple in Macomb County. We talk every day. And not to say we never talk politics, but most of our conversations about, look, we have a situation here. We got to get this fixed. What are we going to do? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to get the people to support what we need to do? And all of these kinds of things. So as I say, there's nothing really magical about it. It's you got to have a lot of common sense. You got to have the political will. You got to understand sometimes when you're going to do some of these things, people are going to be very upset with you and they're not going to be very nice about it. But you just got to bore through because, what are you going to do? Shoot you? You got to get it done.
No doubt about it. Candace, talk to me about some of this infrastructure. We saw water main break in Chesterfield, I believe. This aging infrastructure we have, it feels like it's almost overwhelming to fix it all. But how do we get there? What are some of the things you're working on?
It does feel a bit overwhelming sometimes. And I know, Lance, they hear it every day there because of the amount of money that's required for this. But you cannot feel overwhelmed about it. My approach is that you got to look at it like you're eating an elephant, one bite at a time, and you just got to keep working at it. So, like in Macomb County, I've been there now 9 years. We are fixing everything that we can. We have several $100 million worth of projects, but we didn't do it all the very first year. You sort of got to go through, you got to inspect. It's amazing what you can find when you inspect this old aging infrastructure. You see all of the the problems, the integrities of the pipe, et cetera. And then you have to put your capital improvements plan together. And then you got to work the plan. Again, there's nothing really magical about it, but a lot of it is incredibly expensive. And you have to think about, how are you going to get the money? I mean, I've been fortunate, maybe because of all my decades in government. Hopefully I've figured out how to, if you're going to shoot ducks, go where the ducks are. Raised a couple $100 million toward our project. So we haven't had to pass all of that expenditures onto the ratepayers, but we are trying to fix the things that need to be fixed that people don't see underground.
How hard is that, right? I mean, even in my own house, Lance, to spend money to renovate things that people don't see, those are hard checks to write, but necessary checks to write.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Miller said the most imperfect thing there was it's surprising and amazing what you find when you actually inspect your pipes, and that's the problem. Macomb's doing a great job. The Tri-County area is doing a great job of taking a look at what they have underground and the aging infrastructure that they have, and then making plans to improve that. But there are a lot of communities in our state that don't have the sophistication, don't have the resources, and don't quite frankly understand what they have underground. So convincing their citizens to pay more into something they don't even understand what's going on is very difficult. So yeah, this is very difficult. We take our underground infrastructure for granted. As long as the toilet's flushing properly, as long as we're seeing relatively clean water come out of our taps, we ignore it. And communities need to use their resources to, as the commissioner said, inspect those pipes, inspect that infrastructure, and then make a plan.
You've been so successful in Macomb County. Just to hear you say that, Lance, I mean, we have blueprints all over the place, whether it's reading in Mississippi, let's do it here. Whether it's public works in Macomb County, let's follow that model. I mean, it feels like this is a simple fix along the way. You've just got to get it done.
It's really not simple. And I think Lance touched on this. And I'll tell you, here's the most difficult part, is because if you are, let's say you're a city council or a township board, and your people are screaming at you because they need another police officer, right? Or they need a new firefighter, which believe me, I got it. I believe that and all of that. But yet somehow you have to prioritize some of these things. So now and they go, well, what are you talking about? You got a bad sewer over here. I drive over it every day. I see nothing.
Yeah.
They might see a pothole, but they don't see what's underneath. And so that's probably the hardest part. You have to educate folks. We do a lot of outreach in our department, a lot of, social media, doing these kinds of interviews. So I appreciate it. I mean, just everything that we can to sort of try to get people to think that's true. We're going to have to, sometimes you got to spend a dime to make a buck or to save a buck.
No doubt. It feels like infrastructure is something that is so apolitical. I mean, Democrats use sewers and water. Yes. Republicans use sewers and water. Is that one issue that you think is kind of there in the middle that is in, I don't want to say an easy topic, but something that you can get a Republican and Democrat in a room together and get it fixed?
So it can be. Unfortunately, oftentimes we see infrastructure and funding become politicized, and so a lot of individuals take it on themselves as their goal to accomplish, and they want to get the credit for it. So you're absolutely right. We always say, there's no R or D next to the road. There's not Republican roads. There's not Democratic roads. There's not Republican water mains. There's not Democratic water mains. We're all using these systems, and so Candace said something important. Communication is key. Her and Executive Hackle are talking every day. That's important. Every community should look at that and do the same thing.
I could talk to you guys about this all day. I would love to have you both back at some point and continue this conversation. It matters to residents of our communities. It matters to residents of the state of Michigan, and specifically in Macomb County where you are.
Well, we're hoping that the governor's going to say something about infrastructure tonight, right? So I'm on my way over to the Capitol.
Do you anticipate to hear something about infrastructure tonight?
I hope that she does. I'm the Speaker of the House, Matt Halls. I'm his floor guest tonight, so I'm hoping that she talks about it. And I'm always talking to him about it.
If she does, will you stand up and clap?
I will.
Look at that.
Are you kidding?
Civility in 2026. 760 WJR.
Tonight, someone in our community will need a warm bed. Tomorrow, they'll need a meal. You can help make both possible. The Salvation Army's Bed and Bread program provides over 71,000 nights of shelter and more than 1.6 million meals every year because people like you care. Donate today by texting BREAD to 24365. That's BREAD to 24365. Join the club that's here for good.
In business, we know the best ROI comes from investing in proven talent. For 25 years, the College, Career, and Beyond, a midnight golf program, has been Detroit's premier pipeline for leadership, discipline, and success, boasting a 98% college acceptance rate for more than 3,000 Detroit high school seniors. On April 30th, we celebrate this milestone at the city's newest landmark, Hudson's Detroit. This isn't just a gala. It's a high-level networking summit featuring 450 of Detroit's most influential donors and business leaders, with an appearance by Golf Channel's Rich Lerner. This is a unique opportunity to put your brand in front of a high-net-worth audience of golfers and professionals with innovative tax-deductible advertising opportunities, including naming rights to our new state-of-the-art golf lounge. Whatever your business, auto, finance, real estate, put yourself at the intersection of Detroit's business future and community impact. Visit collegecareerbeyond.org and click sponsorship for details. Secure your legacy today.
Hennion & Walsh was made for people like you. People who understand the value of experienced, highly skilled professionals. That's why you'll have access to a team of specialists to help you invest for the life you want. Why? You've earned it. We're Hennion & Walsh and a team built around you. Get a second opinion. Call 800-279-5279 or find us online. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Hennion & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Hennion & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Most drivers don't think about their auto insurance until an accident happens. But the choices you make today can shape the care you receive tomorrow. In Michigan, unlimited medical benefits may help cover long-term treatment, in-home nursing and recovery services after a serious crash. AdvisaCare supports auto accident victims every day, helping them heal safely at home. Take a moment to understand your coverage and learn more at advisacare.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Audible. It's time to take care of you. Who better to help you than the top voices in well-being on Audible? Kickstart your well-being journey with your first audiobook free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com/wellbeing.
We've got an object on the roadway on I-275 northbound at M14. Wood debris in the center lane. Please use caution there. Some slowdowns on 75 northbound between Kniff Street and 8 Mile. Also on I-94 eastbound between I-96 and Connor Street. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Quick warm up for the late week forecast, but a couple of cold fronts give us a chilly day today and a colder night tonight. West winds breezy, flurry or two, high 35, low 15 tonight. Partly cloudy Thursday, high 33. Friday, partly cloudy, south winds briefly warmer at 50 degrees, and then a big drop to the numbers early March. Sunday, Monday, highs in the 20s, lows in the teens. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Final segment of the program. If I do not get a chance to do it at the end, I want to make sure I do it now. I want to thank Mike Hawks, the CEO of the Governmental Consultant Services, who has been a fine, gracious host for us here at WJR to host us. We are just across the way from the Michigan State Capitol, where the State of the State address will be tonight. Governor Gretchen Whitmer in her final State of the State address. To help us talk about it, Jay DeBoyer. He is a Republican in his second term in the Michigan House, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. That feels like a big job, too, Jay. Thanks so much for the time, my friend.
You bet, Ryan. Great to be here.
Talk about some of the expectations that you have tonight.
Sure.
The governor's approval rating. Any governor in the country would love to have her approval rating. At the same time, if you look at some of the issues that we have in Michigan, education, 44th out of 50, per capita income, 40th out of 50 states. We were in the teens in 2000, such a significant drop in that category. We have real problems in this state.
No, we have significant problems in this state. And I would say, yep, Gretchen Whitmer does. She polls well. The reality is, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Gretchen Whitmer polling well, the Republican Party polling well, the Democratic Party polling well, doesn't matter. What matters is when mom and dad look at their son's scores, right, educational, and he's in 3rd or 4th grade and he can't do math or he can't read, That's what matters in economic security and in safety in the state of Michigan is what matters. And, what I would like to hear from Gretchen Whitmer tonight is we're going to move back towards, performance-based education. We're going to move back towards the mandate of phonics because if kids aren't learning to read, they're not going to learn anything beyond that. So I'd love to hear her talk about how she's going to fix that education problem. The other problem you talk about 44th economically or in the 40s economically in the state, in the country. We are not a friendly state to do business in for a myriad of reasons. Whether it be regulatory things out of ego, which by the way, the Republicans are dealing with red tape. We have a red tape package that is cutting redundant and ridiculous red tape to make the life easier from a regulatory perspective on businesses. Our tax structure is not, in my opinion, that healthy, that attractive. Do things like we pick winners and losers and we distribute money to businesses that we think can help us. But the vast majority of individuals work for companies that have fewer than 50 employees. What are we doing to help the mom and pops that have 20 employees, 25 employees? We're not really doing anything. In fact, we're making life more difficult. Our property taxes need to be addressed in the state of Michigan to make it more affordable. So the big picture, what would I like to hear from her? That she's going to make Michigan a more economically attractive state. I don't know that that's the words that I'll hear. It certainly is not going to be solved by raising taxes, which, by the way, the budget proposal that's on the table from the governor's office right now raises taxes. I don't know how you do that when you're ranked so low in the economic scale of states in the union.
You talk about, Michigan not being friendly to business. And I mentioned this to Speaker Hall in the first hour of the program. If you look at the population shift in this country, the top 10 states gaining the most population, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Nevada, Texas, Arizona, Florida, Idaho, Georgia, South Carolina, are all states that Donald Trump won. If you look at the top 10 states losing the most population, 9 of the 10 states in that category are all states that Kamala Harris won. What is it about policy that is driving people towards Republican states?
That's a very easy answer. The difference is that Republicans believe that success lies with you, your freedom and your ability to exercise your individual rights, to start your business without interference from the government, without a massive taxation on you that prohibits you from wanting to be there. Where Gretchen Whitmer's side believes that all things that succeed come through government. The problem is that you've just put a cog in the middle, right? And they siphon off millions and millions and billions, frankly, of dollars that otherwise would be natural economic stimulus dollars that are running in the economy. So the difference between those two states is type states is very simple. One is a freedom-based economy. The other is a government interference economy. It's pretty telling, frankly.
The speaker put forward a bunch of tax cut proposals yesterday. How do you work through that and get those passed? How does it become something that you talk about to something that you actually get over the finish line?
Yeah, if you look at what his propositions are,
bold.
They're very bold, but the reality is when you're in a really bad spot, doing nothing is not an option. So they are bold. And can we get it across the finish line? Can we get it through the House, past the Senate, and onto the governor's desk, and then the governor sign it? I don't know. But we have to do something. Housing is unaffordable for people. I have a daughter who's 27 years old, does pretty good for herself, has a boyfriend who at some point they may be married. He does pretty well for himself. And they're saving money, but I don't know if they can buy a house.
That situation right there that you just touched on might be the biggest issue facing people in this, among the biggest issues. You've got 2 successful 20-somethings that have done everything right up to this point, and the government over the last 40 years or whatever has failed them.
Absolutely.
To not put them in a position where they've done everything, and now what?
We have a multi-pronged problem with housing. We have an interest rate problem. meaning people who are locked in at low rates will refuse to sell their home.
100%.
Right. We have an uncapping of your property tax problem, which says I could sell my house, take all of my equity out, right? Buy another place, but my monthly expense goes up because of my property tax that becomes uncapped. The idea that we are running government on the backs of, I would argue, probably the number one asset of almost every household in the state it's not even logical that we're doing that.
No common sense.
If you look at the propositions that Speaker Hall has put forward in his tax plan, one of them is to put a tax, potentially put sales tax on some luxury service items. Do you want to know what I like about that? I have discretion then.
Yes.
I can make a decision if I want to pay that tax. And what would that do? That would allow us to roll back 6 mills of taxation on the state education tax, which would amount to about $900 to $1,000 annually in a person living in a typical $250,000 house. That's real money.
No doubt. No doubt. And it's something that I hope continues to be worked towards. Jay DeBoyer, we absolutely thank you for your time. We invite you. You have an open invite. Anytime you want to talk about anything happening in the legislature, I'd love to do it because I think it's so important when our elected lawmakers, our elected officials speak to the people that help get them in office and work for them. And I really appreciate the conversation.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you, Ryan.
You so much for being here. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening today. I hope it was as insightful as can be. Look, this rundown of guests that we have had here at the Governmental Consultant Services, GCSI, I think is why WJR is just the leader when it comes to politics, news, and impactful people in our state. That is what we do here on 760 WJR, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of this day and this network. Again, check us out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. You can type in 760 WJR. You could subscribe to the show. It will not cost you anything. It just makes it easier for you to find us when you pull us up. You can watch us there. You can go to the WJR free mobile app. You'll hear audio only. And of course, we are online whenever you want us at WJR.com. We invite you to check out all of the shows, all of the guests. We've got you covered. And again, thanks to Mike Hawks, who has been a gracious host here, the CEO of GCSI. We look forward to the State of the State address. You can hear it right here on 760 WJR. Mitch Albom next on 760 WJR.